Let us join together in prayer. Gracious God, we thank you for bringing us here tonight to celebrate the hard work and the accomplishments of these students. We are grateful for the opportunities that Parkland has opened up to them to broaden their knowledge and to build upon their unique gifts. We thank you for all the people who supported them with their love and guidance as they made this journey, the teachers and staff, their families and friends. We pray that you pour out your grace on these students now as they move forward. Give them generous and compassionate hearts, and give them joy in their service to others. In all the challenges they face, help them to know your renewing power and your constant love for them. I pray all this in the name of Jesus. Amen. You may be seated.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Beth Rempe, and I'm very honored to be here tonight to greet you all. I completed the Parkland College Associate's degree in nursing in December, and I'm guessing that I am probably not your idea of the typical college student. For one thing, when people say college age, they are usually thinking late teens, early 20s, just out of high school. When I graduated from high school, the Berlin Wall was still up. Who here doesn't have to Google that and do some math to figure out my age? Good for you. You either paid attention in class or you have a great memory for someone so old. In any case, I am considerably older than the stereotypical college student. The other way in which I don't fit the profile of a college student is that I already had a certain amount of higher education under my belt before I started at Parkland in 2016. By certain amount, I mean a PhD, which means that not only have I spent more time in school than most of my classmates, I have spent more time in school than some of my instructors. So I may seem like an outlier, an exception to the norm at a community college. But you know what? I fit right in at Parkland. Although I was probably on the older end of the spread, my classmates were a wide range of ages. And aside from the time when someone thought I was the instructor on the first day of class, it was never an issue. And the PhD, it's just a small part of the particular backstory that brought me to Parkland. Here's the short version of that backstory. After some rocky times in my 20s and taking too long to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, I had settled on a career in academia and was hoping to find a job teaching political science at a college somewhere. But the week after I defended my PhD thesis, my daughter was born prematurely and with a disability. She is the best thing that has ever happened to me, and I have no regrets. But her needs weren't really compatible with my previous career plans. So when it came time for me to return to the full-time workforce, I realized I needed a new plan. Nursing seemed like a good fit with my interests, skills, and experience, and the job market was good. The Parkland nursing program had a great reputation and reasonable tuition. As someone who would be paying back my grad school loans for many years to come, that was important. 2 years ago, I found myself a student again, getting lost in the rabbit warren that is the Parkland College campus, along with many of my fellow students here tonight. That's my backstory. But each of you has a backstory that brought you to Parkland. Getting to know the students in my program and other students in my gen ed classes, I was privileged to learn some of your stories and recognized many commonalities. Maybe you took a while to figure out what you wanted to do with your life. Maybe you experienced setbacks, or wrong turns, or a change in priorities. Or maybe you had other challenges to overcome just to get to that first day of class, challenges very far from my own life experience. While each of our backstories is different, we all found our way here to Parkland, and we all belong here. In the ways that matter, I do think I am a typical Parkland student. Parkland is a place that provides opportunities for people who have struggled, people who have unusual life paths, people who want to make changes at any stage of their lives, or people who just want a top-notch education without paying an arm and a leg. But more on that in a minute. I first want to say a bit more about my fellow students here. Because of my previous experience as an undergrad, my time teaching in grad school, and various work experiences, I have encountered many students from many undergraduate institutions over the years. I can honestly say that the students I have encountered at Parkland have been the most serious, the most committed, and the hardest working of any students I have ever come across. I have learned so much from you, and I am very proud to count myself among you. And we have been in very good hands through our educational experience here at Parkland. Although I have put aside my own plans of teaching in higher education, I still take a keen interest in teaching and feel pretty strongly about it. I have been so impressed with the quality of teaching here at Parkland. The instructors are here because they want to teach, and they are very good at it. I am grateful that there are still places like Parkland where teaching is valued first and foremost. I also know that teaching involves a lot of time and effort that doesn't always get recognized. So could I get a little round of applause here to thank all our instructors? And teachers aren't the only ones who make our education possible. From the friends and family who provide support, to the counseling staff who help you through the hurdles, right down to the very kind cleaning staff who help you find your exit when you get lost after your evening class 3 nights in a row. There is a large group of people, both at Parkland and beyond, who we have to thank for being here tonight. And let's give all those folks some applause too. However, good teachers and good support don't necessarily make things easy for you. My time at Parkland has been a lot of hard work, some of the hardest work of my life. That makes sense, of course. Who here wants their life in the hands of a nurse who went through a really easy nursing program? Didn't think so. I hope you all have been challenged by your studies, whatever they are. I congratulate you on meeting those challenges and making it here today. Make sure you take a moment to take a few breaths and let that sink in. But also make sure that whatever you do next, you keep on seeking out new ways to be challenged and new things to think about. While many of us are getting our degrees in the hope of having a marketable skill and reliable paycheck, don't let it stop there. Take the critical thinking skills you have learned at Parkland and apply them to other areas of your life. More than ever, our society needs people who can see past the outer appearance of things and think carefully. And keeping your learning muscles limber will help you face the challenges that the future holds. Our backstories have been converged here at Parkland for the last few years. Now our stories will diverge again as we head into the next stage of our lives. Thanks to everyone who makes Parkland the great place that it is, which is all of you. And best of luck to you all in the future. Thank you. It is now my pleasure to introduce you to the chairman of the Park Board of Trustees, Dana D. Trimble. Dana Trimble was born and raised on a family grain and livestock farm in Newman, Illinois. He graduated from Newman High School and earned both a bachelor's and master's degree in agriculture from the University of Illinois. Mr. Trimble's career has spanned farming, managing seed cord production, conducting hazard waste management, banking, and working as a grain buyer and agricultural consultant. Prior to his 1999 election to the Parkland Board, Mr. Trimble benefited from coursework at Parkland College to improve his skill levels within jobs and also to aid in career transitions. He and his wife, Benny, have 3 grown children. Carrie, a professor at Millikan University in Decatur, Illinois. Joshua, a lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Army Signal Corps, currently attending the National War College at Fort McNair in Washington, D.C. And Sarah, a middle school social studies teacher in the Howard County, Maryland school system. Please welcome Mr. Trimble to the podium.
Good evening. It's a great evening, isn't it? Graduates, Dr. Ramage, distinguished faculty, guests, family, and friends of Parkland College, on behalf of Parkland's College Board of Trustees, I extend to all of you our warmest greetings. My first order of business is to ask you all to turn your cell phones off, but I would guess there are probably a few pictures you may want to take with that cell phone, so please at least turn the volume down and be courteous of those around you. I also get to remind everyone that this commencement ceremony is being broadcast live over the Parkland channel, which is available to 9 communities in the University of Illinois here in Champaign County. In addition, it is being video streamed by the internet for the benefit of our students and their families, including those in other countries. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce my fellow trustees. James Ayers from Monticello, Bianca Green from Champaign, Tim Johnson from Urbana is unable to be here this evening due to health concerns, but he extends his warmest and best wishes to all the graduates. Gregory Knott from St. Joe, Jim Voiles from Tuscola, Jonathan Westfield from Savoy, and our student trustee, Nafisa Mayega. We trust that your experience at Parkland has been one of the best of your lives. You should be very, very proud of what you have accomplished. We certainly are. Congratulations to all of you, the proud class of Parkland College 2018.
Tom Ramage joined Parkland College in July of 1998 as chair of the newly created Distance and Virtual Learning Department, responsible for developing and administering Parkland's online course delivery system and policies. Since June of 2007, Tom served as the interim president of Parkland College. The Board of Trustees appointed Dr. Ramage as Parkland's 5th president in January 2008. Tom serves as Chief Executive Officer of Parkland College and is responsible to the Board of Trustees of Community College District 505 to implement philosophy, goals, and policies of Parkland College with nearly 1,000 employees serving 11,000 students each semester. He received his master's degrees in education and human development with a specialization in educational technology leadership from the George Washington University in 1998, and a doctorate in education with a specialization in instructional technology and distance education from Nova Southeastern University. His research focused on cost efficiency and return on investment of online programs. Please welcome Dr. Ramage.
I'm glad she didn't adjust the microphone. Thank you, Nafisa. I'd like to begin with some congratulations first to our graduates this evening, and of course to the family and friends that have gathered here with you to celebrate. To our graduates, one thing I am absolutely sure of is that each of you know very well that good decisions have lasting consequences. Those of you that attended the honors convocation earlier this morning heard me say, coming to Parkland College was an excellent decision. Congratulations. You've studied with some of the finest faculty in the nation, focused on one thing, the art and the science of teaching. You've worked with staff that from the very moment you stepped foot on campus right up to this very moment have dedicated themselves to ensuring your success in every single way possible. You've been constantly reminded over and over again, perhaps even to the point of badgering, about how important it is to follow through, to persevere, to complete, to become an educated person That is an enormous accomplishment. Without a doubt, all of that is true, but there are other things that you may have experienced along the way. Things like satisfaction, the kind that comes after you finish something that's difficult, finishing a semester, earning that A with honors, that's gigantic, and completing your degree. That's an enormous accomplishment and certainly the purpose of our gathering here tonight. So let me be among the first to tell you how proud we are of you and your accomplishments. Well done. I have no doubts that tomorrow each of you will continue to make thoughtful decisions, to persevere, to enjoy the sense of satisfaction that inevitably follows. Tonight, it's all about you. Tonight, you will be joining hundreds of thousands of Parkland College graduates since our very first commencement ceremony in 1968. I was a small boy. But tomorrow, your first day as a graduate of Parkland College begins. So do great things. It's now my pleasure to introduce the commencement speakers for this evening. First up is Luke Boyce. He is an Emmy Award-winning director, having been involved with filmmaking and the filmmaking process since age 14, where he worked in Los Angeles with a man by the name of Roger Corman. He co-founded the award-winning film and video production company Shatterglass Studios right here in Champaign in 2006. He's gone on to direct over 100 productions since then, including films, commercials, documentaries, and projects with the Chicago Blackhawks and the Chicago Bulls. Luke's documentary work over the past 8 years has led him to interview some of the greatest names in cinema, including Guillermo del Toro, Tilda Swinton, Oliver Stone, Spike Lee, and others. Luke won a regional Emmy from the Academy of Television Arts and Sciences in 2013 for a documentary examining the 14th Roger Ebert's Film Festival here in town, which occurred only weeks after Roger Ebert's untimely death. His short film, The Puka, starring This Is Us star Chris Sullivan, premiered at the Palm Springs International Short Fest and won the Grand Jury Prize at the Sherman Oaks Film Festival in 2017. That same year, Luke announced his feature-length directorial debut, a live-action adaptation of the award-winning Image Comics series Revival, a Midwest horror noir to be released in 2019. Keep your eyes out for that film. It will be something. Along with him is a gentleman by the name of Carter Boyce. Carter is a Student Academy Award-winning director and animator and one of Parkland College's 50 notable alumni. He attended Parkland College at age 19, where he discovered his love for 3D animation. After earning his associate's degree in applied science and digital media in 2010, Carter spent 2 years picking up animation jobs and working on his portfolio. In 2012, he took his animation career to the next level, film, by attending DePaul University in Chicago to further his study. During his senior year at DePaul, he created and directed his thesis project, an animated short film called Die Flucht. I hope I pronounced that right. Die Flucht. I should have checked. The film earned Carter the top 3 awards at DePaul's annual Student Film Festival. He would go on to win a Student Academy Award for animation at the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences during the Academy's 43rd Annual Student Academy Awards competition in 2016. Seems to be a theme between these two boys, After college, Carter moved back to Champaign. He works closely with several studios and contacts that he made while in Los Angeles, doing animation work from commercial content to film. The award-winning Boyce brothers' mother, Peg Boyce, is an outstanding faculty member and leader in our Parkland College dental hygiene program. Greatness clearly runs in the family. Please join me in welcome the brothers Luke and Carter Boyce.
Thank you, Dr. Ramage. The Board of Trustees, faculty, staff, parents, friends, and especially you, the graduating class of Parkland College 2018. Both of us are really incredibly honored to be here tonight to deliver this commencement address to you. and to be a part of the closing of this particular chapter in your life and hopefully offer you just a small nugget of truth and inspiration as you begin the next one. I have to be honest with you, right up front, it was a bit of a shock when we were asked initially to give this address this year. I immediately thought, what kind of commencement speech could I give? I'm just getting started in my career. We worried that we wouldn't be able to extend the same kind of well-worn advice that someone who's gone through a much longer career and accumulated more successes through many chapters of their life could. I'm only 35, Carter's 29. It's true that we both already experienced some very rewarding moments in our careers and have already received some very humbling awards and recognition. But we come from a family of very big dreamers. We have some pretty grand plans, and we both felt as though our stories are just beginning, that our journey was still firmly planted in the first act, as it were. And then it hit me. I started thinking about the language that we use to define passages and experiences in our life. Chapters, acts, beginnings, and endings. The way we use these terms is common and instinctive because we relate to each other through the means of story. My brother and I are filmmakers. He's an animator and I'm a live-action director, but both of our vocations are rooted in the proficiency of storytelling. That is ultimately what we do. We tell stories. We tell them through a popular and amazing medium, one that is rich in disciplines and technical knowledge and continues to be the primary cultural driver of our time. But our specific roles as directors require us to be invested into more than just the technical know-how of our respective mediums. In order to tell stories, good, meaningful stories, we have to be attuned to the human condition. We have to care and pay attention to the things that make us all tick, that allow us to connect, and that drives our wants, our desires, our fears, and our passions. Stories and storytelling are human imperatives. We are constantly immersed in narrative. Everything we see and hear and learn is presented to us in some form or another as a story. We communicate primarily through some kind of accounting of story, events, and feelings conveyed to fellow humans to create empathy or entertainment or information. All right, okay. I realize I'm not exactly blowing your mind here with any special revelations. I'm sure we're all like, yeah, we like stories, so what? Well, what we wanted to do tonight was to use our knowledge and skills as professional storytellers to impart into you one more lesson before you leave this institution. It is true that storytelling is something we all do naturally, but there's a mountain of difference between good storytelling and great storytelling. And so we've put together a list of 5 essential rules of great storytelling. And there are 2 reasons we want to do this. First, because it's a skill that will serve you very well as you make your way through the world. In fact, a recent scientific study led by anthropologists at University College London showed that good storytelling creates evolutionary advantages, such as elevating social status, improving chances of being chosen as social partners, receiving community support, and even fostering healthy offspring. But more than that, we believe that these are rules you can apply to your own life and your own journey. There are rules that speak to the heart of the human experience itself. We not only want you to be great storytellers, we want you to live your best story. That these can be the guidelines to telling your best story, and in doing so, your best life. So, here we go. Rule number 1. Great stories emerge from structure. In everything, we start with a framework. To tell a great story, we must first understand the building blocks of narrative. At our biological core, we already understand this. We've been doing it since our caveman days. And then somewhere around 500 to 300 BC, in the golden age of Greek theater, we developed it into a formula we call the 3-act structure. You've probably all heard of it before. In the dramatic world, we like to break it down like this. In Act 1, you get your main character up a tree. In Act 2, you throw rocks at them. And in Act 3, you get them back down. What this does is it sets into motion a rhythm. Like in music, it's an underlying beat that creates in us a desire to follow along. And when we're describing narrative, that's really what we're referring to. We're wielding an invisible instrument by which characters, setting, time, motivation, and conflict unfolds. Our brains crave patterns. And so to truly create effective narrative, we utilize structure to illuminate conflict and resolution patterns that accelerate and keep us invested. Now, when I was first started Shatterglass Studios, I worked out of an office in my apartment. It was small and simple, but I loved the idea of making my own schedule, of being my own boss and working the hours I wanted to work. The freedom of working at home was intoxicating, but I quickly discovered that it really required intense discipline and self-motivation. Those are two things I've never quite had in excess. And I struggled for the first few years of my business to really balance my work life and my home life. My partner, Brett, was living in Springfield for most of those years and decided to move to Champaign so we could grow the business. And so the idea of renting an office for the first time was suggested. I was adamant against it. I really loved the freedom I had in working late into the night and still being in a room away from my bed, or getting to edit videos in my pajamas. But I was also struggling to maintain healthy time management, and it was destroying my productivity. So I told myself I would work a couple of days a week in the office with Brett and then still work from home when I wanted to. Folks, it did not take long at all to realize suddenly that the process of spending a set amount of hours a day in a place that was reserved simply for working started to increase my productivity by serious leaps and bounds. I could focus better on the work at hand and our new office, and when I came home, it was suddenly a place to just relax, to stave off the stress of the job and be with my wife. I had suddenly discovered a structure, a framework from which I could build a rhythm that helps me work and play in a way that allowed me to live a better, more productive life. Narrative structure is all about effectively managing the conflict and resolutions of your narrative elements. It can create a framework from which to build enticing story because story itself boils down to conflict and resolution. In life, structure is about effectively managing your own conflict. It can provide stress management and lead to better problem solving, which is basically all we're doing in both life and in story, solving problems. In fact, the reason the storytelling resonates so much with us is because we identify with the core of what narrative structure is. A person wants or needs something, they must deal with opposition in achieving that desire or goal, and eventually will either triumph or fail. That is the heart of your story and mine, and when we start out with a plan, a framework, or a structure, we create forward motion towards achievement.
Okay, rule number 2. Great stories emerge from passion and purpose. We're all familiar with Pixar. Since debuting Toy Story in 1995, they've gone on to becoming one of the most critically and financially successful film studios in the history of cinema, and it all starts with their dedication to the crafts of storytelling. They have a much longer list of storytelling rules than we do, 22 of them to be in fact, and one of the most important one reads like this: why must you tell this story? What's the belief burning with you that your story feeds off of? What greater purpose does this serve? What does it teach? I'll never forget this great line in the movie Serendipity. It goes, "You know, the Greeks didn't have obituaries. When a man died, they would simply ask one question: did he have passion?" Now, truth be told, I've searched online. I don't think that's actually accurate. But it sounds amazing, right? And it's the kind of line that sort of gives you goosebumps. But it also begs the question, what does it mean to have passion? I remember reading once that passion was not about an emotion based in excitement, but an emotion steeped in suffering. Passion is the willingness to suffer for what you love, so you don't have to live through a life that you hate. It's about dedication, perseverance, and overall vision. Passion is doing something because you know, deep down, in the pursuit of happiness, in the pursuit of in the pursuit of this better version of yourself, you have no choice but to pursue it. Now, I'm the youngest of 3 boys. Growing up, I was able to witness my brothers blossom into these amazing artists. They won awards in their art classes. They got the solos and lead parts in the musicals and plays, and then went on to achieve great things as practitioners of their chosen art forms. And I envied this greatly. For most of my childhood, I struggled with the fact that I didn't perform artistically at the level that my older brothers did. I'd always loved the arts, but in my spare time, I never drew or played guitar or painted or anything like that. I spent my time tinkering, or rather just taking apart my parents' electronics. But I wasn't really able to see the creativity that existed or could come from that. When I was a senior in high school, I had the opportunity of taking several sample classes, actually at Parkland. And one of them was a 3D animation class. It wasn't until that class that I actually realized this art form existed, which would allow me to utilize the technical skills I had acquired throughout my childhood to create great art. I remember getting home and walking through the door and immediately saying, "Mom, I know what I want to do with my life." All right, fast forward several years, I had finished at Parkland and at this point fallen completely in love with my art form. And I wanted to do great things with it. For the first time in my life, I could see myself as an artist with the potential to tell great stories. At this point, I decided to finish my degree and started attending DePaul University to accomplish this goal. For me, though, this wasn't just an opportunity to finish my degree, but one that I could use to show the world the potential I saw in myself. So before I even started attending classes, I told myself, for my senior thesis, I'm going to make the best animated film that DePaul has ever seen. And I believed it. I believed it fully. That's a hefty goal, I realize. But at the end of my time there, amazingly enough, I had actually accomplished that goal. My film, Defluked, went on to win the top 3 awards that year at DePaul Student Showcase and later would win a Student Academy Award, both of which had never been accomplished by a DePaul student before. This desire, though, it wasn't actually about being the best. It was about telling a story. In my film, the character is a little statuette fixed to the track of a looping mechanical sculpture, destined to be on that cycle forever. When the machine breaks down, it sparks life into the character, and he makes his way out of this endless cycle. This isn't just a story. This is a story of purpose, a story of new life, a story of passion, and ultimately my origin story as an artist. In the end, I didn't accomplish my goal by wanting to be the best. I accomplished it because I had to tell my story. Storytelling is all about drawing in your audience. It's about weaving a tapestry of information that becomes intoxicating. And that starts at a place of necessity. Apathy breeds apathy, but passion, that's intoxicating. It's an energy we pass on to others, and it roots itself in purpose and meaning. Because storytelling is about not only conveying information, but conveying feeling and substance. And that can only come from a place of vitality.
All right, rule number 3, know when to edit. In the summer of 1974, a very young and very ambitious director named Steven Spielberg was shooting one of the most ambitious special effects projects in the history of film. Steven and his producers had pulled out of retirement almost every single living motion picture special effects artist from Universal Studios history to help bring to life a 25-foot mechanical great white shark they had dubbed Bruce. and threw him into the waters of Martha's Vineyard, where they spent 5 months shooting take after take after take, trying to capture horror and verisimilitude as best they could. So when Stephen brought the footage into the editing room, having worked tirelessly through multiple issues, he learned the true meaning of the term "kill your darlings." Verna Fields, Stephen's editor for the film, knew her role well, to have an objective relationship with the tons of footage Stephen had shot so that she could serve the story to the best of her abilities. As a result, Steve Spielberg would later say the difference between only a few frames was a scary shark and a big floating turd. For me, whether it's writing or filmmaking, the editing process is my favorite phase. It's the stage at which point story begins to truly take shape. But it comes at a high price. Almost always, editing is about trimming the fat, but you don't always have a clear, objective idea of what the fat really is. Throughout the process of developing story, we accumulate bulk, information the audience doesn't need, characters that don't drive the story forward, or moments that don't contribute to the pacing. Great storytelling requires us to recognize what is only the most important elements to the narrative and dedicate ourselves to those. Editing is the hardest part of storytelling, but it's also the point at which your story comes alive. It's the point at which ideas evolve into form. It's all about evolution. It's the process of actualizing. And the reality is that actualizing is at the heart of truly living as well. People who edit their lives believe they deserve the lives they want. The truth is that before we tell stories to others, we tell stories to ourselves. And those stories become beliefs. When we don't take the time to self-edit and understand parts of ourselves that need transformation or betterment or even simply cut, we put our happiness, our desires, and our motivations at risk. This is something I've often found is deeply important to myself. Where in my life can I self-edit? What are the things that are weighing me down? What can I do to transform my story into something tighter and more compelling? As Ernest Hemingway said, the only kind of writing is rewriting. Rule number 4, and this is admittedly a brief and fun one: consume. Stephen King, the legendary author, offers this advice to anyone who asks him what they can do to be a better writer. Read more. This may come as somewhat of a mildly obvious piece of advice, but I believe wholeheartedly in the act of consuming great art wherever you can find it. The truth of the matter is that storytelling is a communication that is passed down through generations. It's how we learned not only of our past, but of our potential. And so by all means, consume stories. Experience other experiences. For the rest of your life, watch television, go to movies, listen to music, read books, read poetry, see plays, get spiritually lost in a concert, get spiritually lost in a church service. Religion itself is rooted in ancient and meaningful storytelling. Friends, this world is magnificent and its bottomless reservoir of story, and it's more accessible than at any other moment in the history of the world. You can currently turn on your TV set and have at your fingertips thousands of films and TV shows from around the world and from every possible decade of the mediums. For $10 a month, you can have access to almost the entirety of music history at your whim. That is nothing short of awesome and inspiring, because it means that we more have the ability to connect with our world and other people than before. Which leads us to our final and most important rule.
Rule number 5, be relevant. People care most about the things that affect them. Storytelling is all about the process of relation. The success of a story almost always hinges on the quality of its proximity to the emotions or the interests of its audience. There's a Roger Ebert quote that I believe really sums up the reason I love and participate in the process of making movies. We are all born with a certain package. We are who we are, where we were born, who we were born as, how we were raised. We're kind of stuck inside that person. And the purpose of civilization and growth is to be able to reach out and empathize a little bit with other people. And for me, the movies are like a machine that generates empathy. It lets you understand a little bit more about different hopes, aspirations, dreams, and fears. It helps us to identify with the people who are sharing this journey with us. Such a good quote. We've talked a lot about narrative tonight, but I want to take a moment to really try to define it. To me, narrative is a form of vicarious experience. A story transports an audience to a time and place not otherwise available to its audience. The purpose of vicarious experience is understanding, catharsis, and as Roger states, empathy. The idea of that brings with it a lot of value and a lot of cost. It means that storytelling comes with responsibility. When we tell stories, we should attempt to have an impact in our world. As we mentioned earlier, we have been telling stories since the beginning of time. We are hardwired to construct narratives, to put events in sequence, and report our experiences to others. As Harvard historian Drew Kilpin-Faust put it, we create ourselves out of the stories we tell about our lives, stories that impose purpose and meaning on experiences that often seem random and discontinuous. Skillful narrative, then, is not so much sequential as it is consequential. Because even when we don't realize it, when we are even just telling a story to a friend over dinner or at a bar, we're not just communicating, but we're participating in human connection. So with all of that said, what do we mean by being relevant? The dictionary defines relevance as the state of being closely connected or appropriate to the matter at hand. To be relevant, then, is to be connected to something bigger, the ultimate matter at hand. And we believe you can achieve this in 3 ways. By being authentic. This is one of those ideas that seems easy in theory and is quite difficult in practice, but great storytelling thrives under authenticity. It is about vulnerability and a willingness to search for and continually uncover the moments you discovered your strengths, your weaknesses, your satisfactions, and your yearnings. When you can give of yourself freely without pretense or insincerity. It's also about observing, about placing yourself within a moment or a place or an experience without commentary. Great storytelling demands that we master the fine art of listening, to be porous enough to the world to accept inspiration when it suddenly shows up for you, of taking the time to take in another experience and another story so that we can ultimately achieve the 3rd point, which is to be more empathetic. To take yourself out of your own shoes, in your own place, and put yourself in someone else's. To us, this is the greatest achievement and the ultimate purpose of story. To foster oneness and understanding. To be human is to be in relationship. And so empathy creates relevance because it creates the resonant connection that brings people together. And this is why we tell stories. To understand, to empathize, and to be better people. And it's why we wanted to extend these ideas to you today. As you proceed on to the next chapter of your own stories, we hope that these rules may help you to be better communicators, better friends, better lovers, better co-workers, better students, and better people. And ultimately, to be better storytellers. Thank you, and congratulations to the Parkland graduating class of 2018.
Good evening. I'm Ellen Schmidt, the Executive Director of the Parkland College Foundation. I'd like to welcome and recognize all of our graduates as proud alumni of Parkland College. On behalf of the Parkland College Foundation, I'm honored to award the 2018 Distinguished Alumnus Award to Kelly Lushin. This award recognizes exceptional alumni and is awarded for personal and professional accomplishments and service to the community. Parkland College served as the foundation for Kelly's success, where she earned her Associate of Science in Business Administration in 1998. In 2000, she graduated with her Bachelor of Science in Accountancy from the University of Illinois and received her Certified Public Accountant designation less than 1 year later. After graduation, Kelly spent 16 years at Martin Hood Friesen Associates, working her way to senior manager in the firm. Today, she is Senior Vice President and Chief Financial Officer at Farm Credit, Illinois. Kelly is engaged in the Champaign-Urbana community as a member of many professional organizations, a member of Parkland College Foundation Board, and supports programs that educate youth and adults about personal finances. Kelly believes in the mission of Parkland College and is a strong advocate and supporter of the educational opportunities it offers everyone. Please join me in recognizing Kelly Lushin, the 2018 Distinguished Alumnus Award recipient.
I'm extremely honored to receive this award and join you in celebration of your accomplishments this evening. 20 years ago, I completed my education at Parkland. However, my journey at Parkland was only just beginning. The degree I received was a foundational piece of my education and ultimately my career, but Parkland has become much more than that. Oftentimes, especially during graduation, people talk of dreaming big. And while big dreams are important, as I left Parkland, I found myself focusing on the next thing that was in front of me, and then the next one, and then the next. Before long, I was creating a path of opportunities for myself. When you all leave here this evening, you will be giving the next step in your own journey. Focus on your next step, whatever that may be, and rest assured that Parkland has fully prepared you. The relationships I formed at Parkland are ones that I depend on still today. Relationships with other students, with faculty and staff, and members of the community have all contributed to the opportunities along my path. I encourage you to maintain and grow your relationships from your time at Parkland, as they will be important to your future as well. Parkland is a pillar in this community, and for that I enjoy every opportunity to give back to an institution that gave so much to me. As a recipient of the Presidential Scholarship, I am now able to give back my time, talents, and dollars to the students that come after me, and I encourage you to support Parkland in any way that you can, and give back to the students that will come after you. Congratulations to you all. This is a very exciting and promising time in your lives. I look forward to the impact that you'll have on our community and on our world. May God bless each and every one of you. Thank you.
It is my pleasure to present the Honorary Associate Degree to Greg Kozad. Greg knows that Parkland College offers educational opportunities that can open doors and change lives. Greg grew up in Champaign and graduated with distinction from Indiana University and went on to receive both law and master's in business administration degrees from the University of Notre Dame. He is also a proud Parkland alumnus, having taken classes during the summer of his undergraduate degree from Indiana University. Over the past 9 years, Greg has been instrumental in the success of the Parkland College Entrepreneur of the Year program that provides program support and scholarships for students. His vision has helped to raise over $500,000 for this program. At our annual Parkland College Foundation Entrepreneur of the Year banquet, we recognize an individual or family who demonstrates the best traits of entrepreneurship. This award is presented in the honor of Dale Kozad, Greg's late father, who was a highly respected businessman and philanthropist. Greg has followed in his father's footsteps as the president and CEO of Kozad Asset Management, which provides the highest quality professional and personalized financial service throughout the country. Greg is very involved in our community, volunteering for several organizations, serving on boards, and mentoring future entrepreneurs. On behalf of the Parkland College Foundation, I recommend Greg Kozad for an honorary associate's degree.
Thank you, Dana.
Mr. Kozad, it is my pleasure on behalf of the Board of Trustees and all of Parkland College to present you with this honorary degree. The plaque reads, By authority of the trustees of Parkland College, Greg Kozad is hereby awarded the degree of Associate in Arts in recognition of the fulfillment of the requirements of this degree, awarded at Champaign, Illinois, the 17th day of May, 2018. Congratulations, and thank you.
Well, I'm humbled and thankful to receive this honorary degree from Parkland College. Parkland is a great community asset, and I congratulate each and every one of you tonight on graduating from such an excellent school. Today is my 59th birthday, and I thought I would share with you very briefly 3 life lessons that I've learned in my 59 years that have made a positive difference in my life. Number 1, every day is a new day. I mean this both literally and in a broader sense. This evening, my daughter, Courtney Simmons, is with us. She's 29 years old, but when she was a baby, we used to walk over to her crib and we'd see her pull herself up and she would smile and we'd say, "It's a new day, it's a new day," and she would be excited about the possibilities of what was out there. That became our family saying for the last 30 years. It's a new day. Every day that you're alive presents a unique opportunity to do something special. We all go through routines of life, but please don't take anything for granted and appreciate immediately what's in front of you. In a broader context, though, it's a new day means that you're going to probably have many jobs throughout your life, as well as many good times and bad times. And whatever life brings you, every situation brings new opportunities into the future. If you start a new career, it's a new day. If you go through difficult times, tomorrow presents a new day to have fresh possibilities. If you go through good times, the new day is an opportunity not to rest on your laurels, but seek new horizons in which to accomplish. Life lesson number 1, every day is a new day. Number 2, seek to add value to all that you come into contact with. I went to a program about 8 years ago called Halftime, and the idea was to move from success to significance in your life. After the completion of the 2-day program, I concluded that if I was going to participate in anything going forward, I wanted to add value to it. In fact, I took away a plaque from that 2-day program that sits on my desk today that says to add value to all that I come into contact with. I wanted to bring whatever skills and abilities I had to improve the situation or opportunity that I was involved in. Another way of saying the same thing is if you're going to do something, do it right. Each of you has unique abilities, talents, and skills. So whatever you have or whatever you're working on, bring those skills and talents to it. Life lesson number 2, seek to add value to all that you get involved with. Life lesson number 3, and probably to me, perhaps the most important, live with an attitude of gratitude. A thankful spirit will lead to a much happier life for you and is a frame of reference to which to live by. Roughly 10 years ago, I went on a mission trip to Malawi, Africa, which is perhaps the poorest country in Africa. What stood out to me then and stands out to me to this day is the spirit and the upbeat nature of the people. These were people who did not have running water or electricity in their homes. In some ways, they did not know what they were missing, but they had a positive, upbeat look on life and were appreciative for what they did have. That trip had an impact on me in terms of times when things are going tough for me or not going the way I want, and I remember that trip and I remember those people, and I'm so thankful for the blessings of each day. My wife, Christy Kozad, who is also with us here this evening, recently has gone through a very difficult 1-year-long battle with breast cancer. She successfully completed treatment after multiple surgeries and 20 weeks of intensive chemotherapy. However, to me, the most amazing thing in being with her the last year was her thankful spirit and the attitude she brought to every day and the hope of each day. We were at the surgeon's office a week ago, and visiting with the physician, Christy shared, in some ways, this past year has been the best year of her life, the love and support she's received. Now that's living with an attitude of gratitude and a reference point which we can all come from to make a difference in how we live our lives. So that's it. Every day is a new day. seek to add value to all that you come into contact with, and live with an attitude of gratitude. I wish you well in your future endeavors and congratulate you again on your graduation this evening. Tomorrow is a new day.
Graduates, tonight is your night, and we celebrate with you this reaching of a very important academic milestone in your life. But before we get to the most important part of this evening for you, I think it's very appropriate that we take a moment to recognize the faculty who have helped you get here. And it is my honor this evening to recognize 4 of our very finest faculty. Parkland's selection for the Parkland Teaching Excellence Award comes from the Department of Natural Sciences, Associate Professor of Kinesiology, Chris Warren. Professor Warren, please stand and be recognized. Parkland's nominee for and winner of the Illinois Community College Trustees Association Outstanding Full-Time Faculty Award comes this year from the Department of Agriculture, Engineering Sciences and Technologies, Professor of Horticulture and Agriculture, Kaizat Irani. Professor Irani, please stand and be recognized. Parkland's nominee for the Illinois Community College Trustees Association Outstanding Part-Time Faculty Award comes from the Department of Humanities, Instructor Tracy Dotson. Ms. Dotson is unable to be with us tonight, but we will still recognize her. Finally, Parkland's selection for its Online Teaching Excellence Award comes from the Department of Fine and Applied Arts, Associate Professor of Communication, Kendra McClure. Professor McClure, please stand and be recognized. And now, candidates for degrees and certificates, please rise. Hold it. President Ramage, upon the recommendation of the faculty and on their behalf, I present to you the candidates for degrees and certificates for the class of 2018.
So on behalf of the Board of Trustees, I accept the candidates for degrees and certificates.
Candidates for certificates. Candidates for certificates. Fada Cherie Harris. Jean Schaefer. Candidates for associate degrees. Haley Michelle Abbott. Michaela Abbott. Alyssa Taryn Ackerman. Harold Adams. Jared Aden. Brandy Aston. Shahad Al-Sayad. Lisa Louise Altenberger. Rachel Elaine Anderson. Charles Berrickman. Marissa Baria. Nicole Bash. Heather Nicole Bautista. Lori Bolia. Mackenzie Beck. Savannah Jo Benich. Emily Benson. Sierra Benson. Gabriel Billenberg Gilbert. Jacob Bierbaum. Abigail Billman. Jeffrey Bishop. Justin Blackford. Ellison Elizabeth Blaylock. Matthew Blue. Albert Bodie. Quinn Bollinger. Faith Bonham. Anise Bouchard. Sophie Bourne. Sarah Boughton. Valerie Brooks. Ashley L. Brown. Jasmine N. Brown. Jonathan Brown. Nicole Maxine Brown. Maya Brownlow. Jalen Buchanan. LaRyan Buckner. Carly Burris. Stephanie Burton. Savannah Butler. Morgan K. Calvert. Gavin McCrae Campbell. Michelle Campbell. Romel Lamar Campbell. Deanna L. Cannon. Jose Cantu. Kayla Marie Cantu. Alejandro Cabajal. Lena Carlson. Kasia D. Carlton. Dante Caruso. Michelle Caston. Colin Clark. Hunter Clark. Paige Clark. Stacy Kaufman. Carl Cole. Bailey Collins. Aaron Cooper. Deborah Corey. Nicole Corey. Allison Kramer. Courtney Cribbett. Gabriel Krause, Corey Curtis, Drake Davis, Sarah Davis, Shyla Davis, Donald Dayton, Alexandria Rebecca DeRue, Tabitha K. Ludeck, Kaylee Denton, Travon Dom, Luis Diaz, Jean-Robert Demailly, Tristan Dixon, Caitlin Donegan, Jessica Early, Cameron Edwards, Ama Elgendi, Jacqueline Esquivel, Austin Farthing, Elena Fair, Jason R. Finnegan, Brian Ford, Tanisha Ford, Daniel Fox, Stephen Franco, Aaliyah Frazier Chambers, Michael Frederick, Vana Gaines, Francisco Gamino, Alec Garcia, Edgar Garcia, Aileen Gaza, Shauna Ganens, Whitney Garst, Debrianna Renee Gibbony, Adriana C. Gold, Curtis Godby Jr., Emily Getting, Angel Latre Gordon, Anne Graybow, Dylan Grammer, Jacob Green, Shannon Grob, Cameron Horse, Megan E. Hale, Anthony Michael Hall, Molly Hampton, Ashley Sue Hannigan, Sansere Harbour, Miranda Harden,
Christina Harris, Jaslyn Ivory Harris, Taylor Hazelbring, Brandon Heath, Reese Heath, Courtney Alec Helm, Heather Michelle Henderson, Landon Henson, Kimberly Herman, Karen Guadalupe Hernandez Patricio, Kaylee Herter. Kirsten Hess. Kali Nicole Herman. Wanya Hill. Chase Helms. Lin Huang. Dylan Horsch. Alexis Hughes. Stephen E. Jerica. Travis Ingram. Liliane Ipuza Epsa Akono. Kaya Sue James. Arlette Jaramillo. Pardon. Amanda Nicole Jordan. Latricia M. Johnson. Zachary Johnson. Zanya Johnson. Jeffrey Johnson Jr. Benjamin Johnston. Brett Jones. Stephanie Ann Jones. Stephen Glenn Kaiser. Madeline Kallenbach. Karen Elizabeth Young Karmazanias. Cody Kaufman. Bailey Kaufman. Lashonda Lynette Johnson. Lindsay Kelts. I beg your pardon, Lindsay Kelts. Darnell Denise Kennedy. Keel King. Nick King. Justin Klett. Abigail Cheyenne Knapp. Alyssa Marie Cook. Ruth Combe. Elena Kramer. LeConte. Nicholas LeConte. Glory K. LePayne. Zachary William LePayne. Felix Kruger. Isaac Lark. Alana Lemanchek. Kayla Lee. Joanna Lehigh. Sabrina Laley. Stephen Leinard. Lorena Rose Linwiber. Brittany Leman Mohammed. Amber Lewis. Julio C. Lopez Montiel. Christine Helene Lux. Tequila Lucas. Jeanette Lucio Hernandez. John Lulek. Dylan Lytell. Lindsay Maher. Taylor Mattingly. Taylor May. Elisier Mbo Wazelo. Audrey McCabe. Samantha McClellan. Lauren McDaniel. Suzanne McGuire. Carrie Lynn McIntosh. Tabitha McKinney. Catherine E. Mess. Niles Merrill. Amber Nicole Milberg. Casey Lynn Miller. Stephen Josiah Mills. Darren Mitchell. Bryce Mix. Terry Mobley. Mark Mochel. Charles Moody. Jennifer Moody. Karen Moore. Emily Morgan. Allison Bailey Morris. Javier Murillo. Mehdi Mawamba Mandu. April Nave. Rihanna Newbill. Lolitia Newman. Sorry, check that. Elizabeth Monique Nieto. Danielle Ackletree. Brittany Michelle Olins. Ronaldo Olvera. Kevin Oviedo. Kelsey Joe Owens. Angela Patrick. Kimberly Payan. Gabrielle Perry. Rebecca Phillips. Whitney Elaine Phillips. Brian Pisano. Connor Lynn Poffenbarger. Caden Meredith Pope. Bailey Michelle Preston. Julie A. Pruitt. Riley Quinn. Tipachan Mia Radavan. Shamim H. Razak.
Sydney Redding. Cortavian Reed. Chelsea Reeder. Cassandra Reinbold. Angie Nicole Remmers. Cameron Rexroad. Katrina E. Rhodes. Beth Rempe. Dana Rhodes. Catherine Richardson. Rebecca Rivera Garcia. Courtney Alexis Roberts. Samantha Rachnowski. Samantha Roderick. Paul Rogers. Alexandra Catherine Ressler. Kimberly Mashan Rogers. Arthur Ross. Colin Rochemel. Cassidy Rulon. Claudia Andrea Salazar Corriti. Jeremy Kevin Schaefer. Joshua J. Schnur. Raquel Diane Schoolcraft. Dulcinea Scott. Zachary Scott. Nastasia Searcy. Stephen K. Sears, Jr. Dylan James Seidel. Shakita Sessions. Adam Schaubeck. Trenton Sheehan. Victoria Shepard Fortner. Jessica Sherman Corbett. Alec J. Shoemaker. Avshalom Shongwi. Ethan David Seg. Aaron Simmons. Taylor Simpson. Dipti Singh Hwania. Byron Smart. Ashley Smith. Cedric Cientes Jones Smith. Zoe Dora Soderstrom. Eric Andrew Sofranco. Patrick Spitz. Patrick Leroy Sprague. Alyssa Standiff. Lucas Stark. Sierra Steele. Monica Stengel. Jamie Addison Stewart. Katie Elaine Stickles. Michael Stoller. Amber Danielle Stork. Jacob Strutner. Meredith Page Sullivan. BTN Sun. Shannon Sutton. Ashley Taylor. Marina Taylor. Shelby Taylor. Griffin Terrell. Sarah Thomas. Jessica Taylor Tatman. Cynthia Thorson. James B. Tinsley. Janie Tippett. Janae Lee Tompkins. Matthew Toohill. Kylie Nicole Trentina. Sean Paul Trotter. Victoria Varner. April Vetter. Zachary Vilvin. Derek Vogel. Grayson Velker. Mackenzie Joe Wagner. Alexa Waller. Thomas Warner. Haley Ann Watts. John Weaver. Nicole Marie Webb. Catherine Winterdahl. Elizabeth Ann Wheatley. Emily Renee White. Jasmine Desiree White. Sarah Ann White. Nathan Wiggum. Anthony Wilzinski. Jordan Wilkie. Brenna Wilkins. Cornosia Williams. Alexis Michelle Williams. Latrina Deshang Williams. Precious Faith Williams. Sandra Williams. Thomas E. Williams III. Krista Williamson. Mary Wynn. Amanda Yeager. DLC Zendeja. David Pierre Zengi. Colin Mwanga. Brina Joe. Chase Zimmerman. Ileana Ingram. Muhammad Jude. Nicholas LeBeau. Ondra Hunoga. We also need to recognize one student participating remotely this evening, Brian P. Vanetti.
Good evening. My name is Javier Murillo, and I'm a communications graduate. I'm humbled to be the 51st person to have this honor bestowed upon me. Although I am often referred to as a dreamer, today is proof that we are all dreamers. To my fellow graduates, congratulations and good luck on the pursuit of your next dream. You have made everybody who has ever supported you proud. And now, class of 2018, please stand. Join me in becoming Parkland College graduates by turning your tassel from right to left.
The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord look upon you with favor and give you peace. Amen.